Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to another live this morning, and we want to say hello to some dear friends. How are you? Come on here and say hello here. And let's see, as you get Brahim, you're numero uno, Portland, Oregon. Andrea, Niagara Falls, good morning. Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. John, how are you? And Janice, Brampton. Nativity, how are you? And Kevin, hi Kev. Nelly, you know what, I'm going to bring this down just a touch till Fran, how are you, Orangeville? Sue, how are you in Bolton? Grace and Wendy from Markham and Nick from our staff, good morning. Carol from West Virginia, thanks for coming on. Frida, Devlin, John in Green Bay. Lisa Marie, Donna, how are you? Nellie, and Trisha, Alberta. Cecilia, good morning to you. Colleen, good morning. And Denise, Oakville, and was that Star? Wanda, Virginia, and Jocelyn, no, it went up in the clouds, guys. Frida, Sherry, Lori, and a couple of more. Lorraine from Oshawa. Marianne, how are you? London. April, good morning. And Maria, and Magog, who was that? It went up. Okay, Karen. Windy, chilly, cold water. Yeah, it's cool here this morning. Jeanette. Keith. Anne, how are you? Okay, we're going to get going, guys. We got a lot of questions. Elaine from New York City. Judy, Port Perry. Dorothy, Essex. Lioness, Sudbury. Oh. Debbie, how are you? Lynn, Marie, shared with my Care Bears. Heather, Miramachi. Okay. Carrie, Nebraska, good morning to you. And Karen, how are you? I'm going to go up a little bit. And guys, just a sad note here this morning. I posted it earlier. Our dear friends to this program and dear friends of mine, Les and Sharon Fry. He was a ventriloquist and a friend of the Martin Clinic. Actually had him on last year, and they died tragically on not last night, but the night before, killed instantly. Car went through a stop sign and hit them, and well, that hurts. It hurts. And anyway, just prayers out to the family and to friends and people that knew them, and they were great friends of this podcast and great friends to many people that knew them through the podcast or otherwise. But anyway, it was a punch in the gut when I heard that yesterday. Punch in the gut. Okay, guys, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. We appreciate this family, and we thank you. Difficult times like this, well, nice to have family and people who care. Thank you again. Okay, so let's get to the questions here this morning. By the way, do you like my t-shirt? I wore it at a conference. Was it last week? Everybody loved my t-shirt. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay, here we go. Questions. Okay. Cecilia, my husband has 16 to 49% plaques in his veins. In his veins, Cecilia, or in his arteries? A big difference there. Big difference, okay? So get me that answer, because I'm pretty sure it's arteries. Okay, that he had. The surgeon says it's not serious. So in the veins would usually be in the legs, and he would have venous insufficiency, but I think you're talking about his arteries by the sound of it, okay? And he has plaque built up in his arteries, 16 to 49%. Well, look, I mean, never too late to get started. Do the right things. The reset, big time. Get the insulin down. I talked about yesterday or the day before, high blood pressure. 4 things that happen through insulin resistance, okay? So change your diet. I'm big on lubrication, okay? I was just thinking, my truck needs an oil change, okay? It's due. I was thinking about that. And when they do an oil change, they do lubrication too, okay? Your body needs that. That's why I'm so big on high DHA. It lubricates the blood vessels, okay? I love Navitol because it elevates nitric oxide. That's very, very important for heart, very important for those blood vessels, very, very important. Powerful antioxidant. It will protect your blood vessels from further plaque. And look, the body has an amazing ability to regenerate. One of the things you want to do, drink water. What? Water. Keep your blood flowing. Okay, high DHA, Navitol, curcumin, very powerful anti-inflammatory, because inflammation is what forms plaque, okay? Don't blame cholesterol for what inflammation is doing, okay? Now, very good question. But Cecilia, I think you're talking about his arteries, okay? Sherry, I want to sing, Sherry. Whenever I hear that name, I want to sing. Okay, I currently take vitamin D, K2, B12, probiotics, DHA, magnesium, zinc, okay, and oil of oregano. You're a smart girl, Sherry. I was wondering about adding the multi-nutrient. Is it overkill? Well, it depends. It's not overkill, okay? But look, multi-nutrient used to be called Blood Boost until they stopped us from calling it that. Ooh. Anyway, the multi-nutrient, there's nothing like it. Liquid, you name the nutrient, you name the vitamin, you name the electrolytes, you name it, it's in there, okay? And I used to give it to patients that were exhausted, patients that were anemic, patients that were battling cancer, patients that were just drained. And they found a big difference in when they took that. So Sherry, if you're feeling really good, you don't need it. If you're exhausted, I would highly recommend it. So you figure that out where you're at there. But it's not overkill. It's good for you. Okay? And even in supplementation in general, I make a statement, I've said this probably 25 years ago, more than that. Look, we live in a day and age, our soil is not what it used to be. We live in a chemical soup. It's the way it is. Like food, it's not like it used to be. and devoid of a lot of nutrients and devoid of a lot of minerals. And it's just the way it is, because what's in the soil is going to be in the food, it's going to be in the animals, whatever. Okay? I'm not saying, of course, I'm big, you got to eat. But a lot of people today need to supplement. Okay? Like B12 and vitamin D and, probiotics. I'm sorry, we live in that kind of world. Okay. And you're not going to get everything from your food. I wish we could, because I'm a food guy. I'm a food guy. Okay. Let me just see here. Susan, what are Candida antibodies? Well, there you are, antibody. Well, antibodies, what are they? Okay? So they're really flags. Okay? Or I like what Tony Jr. calls them. It's a barcode. So, when you go to the grocery store and you go through the self-checkout and you got to show the barcode, well, your body has that machine inside of it. Okay? And whenever anything comes into your body, it gets passed through the scan. Okay? At the gut level. And if it's good, no problem. If it's bad, should get flagged, because the body's not recognizing it. And what autoimmune is the body's overreacting to almost anything, including yourself. Autoimmune. The body is overreacting to antigens, and so when you have Candida antibodies, that's all right. You need them. The body just it's part of your immune system. The body flags Candida and says, yeah, we don't want you in here. Okay, now Candida, everybody has a little bit of it. It's when it gets into the bloodstream. It's when you have an overgrowth of it that it's bad. But you want Candida antibodies. They're part of your immune system. Okay, Angie, what is your opinion on red light therapy with the microbiome? I don't know. I don't. Look, I don't think there's enough. Look, red light therapy is getting a lot of ink these days. I'm certainly not against it. I think it's promising. As far as, the microbiome, well, look, I know what the vitamin D light, I know what the sunlight does for the microbiome. Very good. Imagine your microbiome loves the sun. So red light therapy, I think there's some real encouraging things with that. Its effect on the microbiome, I've seen a few studies, but I'm not sure. People that know more about that stuff than me would probably give you a better indication, but I like it. Okay. Does it help improve bacteria in the gut? I'm not sure, but I think it has promise. Okay. Mary, I take B12 and do 95% reset for 18 months. Mary, you're a smart girl. Okay, what's your question? I only sleep 2 to 5 hours a night. What could be the cause? Okay, two things. I only sleep 2 to 5 hours a night. Well, Mary, look, that's not a lot. It's not ideal. You might be one of the few people in the universe that gets away with that. Okay? Everybody's unique. Everybody has their own thumbprint, fingerprint. We're all different. you're not telling me anything. You're just telling me 2 to 5 hours of sleep. You feel good? Are you healthy? You got a lot of energy? I need to know that, okay? But anyway, now you're asking another question. What could be the cause of aura migraines? Well, isn't that interesting that I went through that yesterday? Okay? And I'll just take you out my notes and I'll talk to you just for a second because I think there was a couple of questions on this, on migraines, okay? And let me just get my notes out from yesterday on migraines. Where are they? Okay, 3 main causes of migraines. Okay? The first, hormones. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about estrogen dominance. We talked about low levels of progesterone. We talked about cortisol. I brought you out a pyramid. Someone said, Dr. Martin, that looked like a Christmas tree. It did? That looks like a Christmas tree? And not a pyramid? I don't know. It looks like a Christmas tree. I kind of like that. I was laughing my head off, okay? So what do we see there? We see the ovaries, estrogen and progesterone. We see the adrenals above the kidneys, 2 of them. We see insulin right in the middle at your pancreas. And then we see your thyroid up at the top. If you don't look at the whole picture, when it comes to hormones, you're going to miss it. It should be taught in medical school. Hormones 101. How they're all connected. Okay? From insulin to cortisol to estrogen to estrogen and progesterone balance to a sluggish thyroid because of the decrease of T3 and T4. Okay? So, Mary, and this is Caroline is asking something similar. Caroline, what should I do if I have vertigo and migraines probably caused by estrogen dominance? Okay, well, dim it out. Get on flax seeds. Get on our menopausal formula. Get the estrogen down and balance. You see what our menopause formula does. Okay? I formulated it. It knocks estrogen down, elevates progesterone. Facts. I had to prove it to people. I had to, before and after. And not only just symptoms, but their testing. Balance it out. I would have a person, even on migraines, with on our thyroid formula. I'll tell you why. Because again, when estrogen is dominant, you're not converting T4 to T3 properly. And that's a finicky. T3 is the finicky hormone. And your thyroid don't work unless it's perfectly, not balanced, but perfectly distributed. T3. And that's why a lot of people, they fall through the cracks when it comes to their thyroid because they only rely on TSH. Now, I got a little secret sauce that I used in my practice in terms of looking at TSH, and I could sort of figure out. But I never did that without a good case history and listening to the patient and observing when they came in. I used to get the eyeballs real close. Look at their skin. Look at their nails. Look at their eyebrows. Look at their hair. Look at all of it. And I used to palpate their thyroid. I was all over them. Okay. So that was vertigo. Yeah, a lot of people get that. A lot of women get vertigo. And why is estrogen in relation to progesterone? Well, they work together. Estrogen and estrogen is pro-woman. Progesterone is pro-babies. Okay? And you need both. And they need to be balanced. They need to be equal to each other. Your progesterone, if you're pregnant, of course, is going to go up. That's normal. Okay? It's meant to be temporary. I'll just give you an example that after a baby, oftentimes, doesn't happen every time, but oftentimes, because all the progesterone is left in the placenta, okay, after childbirth, a lot of women get postpartum depression. Why? Not enough progesterone. Hasn't come back. The body hasn't made enough of it quickly. And they have estrogen dominance giving them a big factor in postpartum depression. I've seen it thousands of times. And you can help. Okay, Dr. Martin thinks of CMOS. What do I think of it? I don't know. Katie. I never used it. I knew about it. I'm just trying to think of patients who used it. I think I remember a few patients that would get that in for their skin. So if you would send me, Katie, what you would use it for, I know it would have lots of chlorophyll. Why would what are you taking it as? In a supplement form? I don't know. I can't say that I've seen it in a supplement. Maybe it is. Do you want me to Google it? I don't know. Okay, but you can ask me, Katie, more specifically. Send me a little bit more detail of what you're asking and send it to info@martinclinic.com. And I will give you a better answer. I know about it. I just wondered why. Okay. Okay. Fern, I've noted that you are against hormone replacement for women. Well, I'll tell you what I'm against, Fern. I'm against non-bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Okay? I'll tell you why. It's how they make them. First of all, it's horse's urine, synthetic. Okay? They get it from horses. Well, you ain't a horse. I learned hormones with Dr. Fishman, okay? Now, he would, at the time, the leading authority on bioidentical hormones, PhD in pharmacology, smart. And he used to tell people taking his courses, remember, women aren't horses. He often started his classes like that. Women aren't horses. A horse is 10 times bigger than a woman. Don't use horse's urine. Okay? So I that's what I'm against, Fern. I'm not against hormone. I'm not against hormone therapy. I like bioidentical. I never, ever gave estradiol. I never gave estrogen. I never gave estrogen to women. If I did it once, you could correct me on that, but I don't think I ever did. Because we live in an estrogen-dominated world already. We have way too much estrogen. It's a big problem. And I caution women. I used to caution them. Look, it's between you and your doctor. But if you're asking me my opinion, I wouldn't touch it with a 20-foot pole. Not the synthetic stuff. And I wouldn't even take bioidentical estrogen. You don't need estrogen. Your body thinks every chemical is estrogen. And they base it on the fact, and I get it, I understand their thinking. They base it on the fact, as you age, a woman's estrogen goes down. Yeah. It's nature. Your estrogen goes down, but your xenoestrogens, they go up through the roof. And we're surrounded by it. And why is breast cancer 1 out of 6 or whatever it is today when it used to be a 1 out of 20? That's me, Fern. I'm very, very, very concerned about hormonal therapy, HRT. I think they're wrong about it. I don't like it. Bioidentical's different because that's natural, identical hormones. I like progesterone, but I don't like giving extra estrogen. I never have. And I've been consistent about it. Okay? So thank you for the question, Fern. I just don't like it. And there's better ways to protect your brain. There's better ways to protect your bones. There's better ways as a woman gets into her menopausal years. There's better ways to do it. And I saw tens of thousands of women with hormonal hormones. But anyway, I think I made my point. Okay. Melanie, what are my thoughts on liquid stevia or stevia, any stevia? Well, limited. Okay? I'm not a big guy on stevia. I don't particularly like the taste of it. But in limited quantities, yeah. So far, I mean, any research that I've ever seen on it, look, but I limit it. Okay? I don't like a lot of it. So if you use it in a limited fashion, I got no problem with it. Caroline, can you share the reason why your supplement DHA is to be taken on an empty stomach? It doesn't have to be taken. You know what? Caroline, look, we have label laws in Canada. Okay? Label laws. You know, the migraines, I get a migraine from it. But look, here's me. I took my DHA this morning, okay, with my coffee. And I had an omelet this morning, okay? Like, I think it had 6 eggs in it. Eggs, meat, and cheese. It had meat, bacon, it had cheese, it had 6 eggs. Omelet. I took my supplements with it. Okay? And DHA included. And coffee. Okay? You can have it on an empty stomach. It's a fat-soluble supplement. Some people say you got to have some food with it. Whatever tickles your fancy. Okay? It doesn't, I don't see, just, it's better to take them. Like me, I take pretty well I might spread out a little bit during the day, but I'm a senior citizen. So I have a tendency to forget. So I like taking my supplements in the morning so that I don't forget. Now, for those of you who take some magnesium before you go to bed or cortisol control, hey, no problem. I do that too. Okay? Okay. Boy, we're getting some good questions this morning. Thank you, Carolyn. Allison, is lecithin good or bad for the reset? It's listed for the coconut milk that's allowed during the reset. Yeah, lecithin's all right. Your body makes lecithin. You can take it as a supplement. I don't never talk about it because you get lecithin when you eat a steak. You get lecithin. I had lecithin this morning because I was eating eggs. To take it as a supplement, like if they put it into coconut milk, that's all right. By the way, you can have coconut milk on the reset. Okay? You can have you can't have any other plant milk, but you can have coconut. Okay? And if you need it, I'd rather you just have coffee and water. But if you need it, you got to have some coconut milk in your coffee or cream. Go for it. Beautiful. Lecithin. Yeah, I never talk about lecithin. I want you to eat it. Okay. Chantal, what does Dr. Martin think about drinking hydrogen water? Not much. Not much. Look, guys, I've been around a long time. Like a long time. And drink spring water, okay? And put a little bit of Himalayan salt in it, and you got the best water in the world, okay? So, I know there's a lot of claims, and I've seen it, and, if you want to spend the money, and it makes you drink more water, go for it. I don't buy it. I just don't. To me, it's hype more than anything. I've been studying water for 50 years, and I've been telling people to drink water for 50 years. Vitamin W. Do you need to put hydrogen in water? I don't think so. Nature doesn't have it like that. Okay? I like spring water. H2O. Okay. Hey, if you want to spend the money, I'm not going to... Deborah, how to manage dumping syndrome. And dumping syndrome, first of all, is when your stomach is emptying way too quick into the small intestine. Well, the best way to fix it are two things. One, eat a lot more protein. People that got dumping syndrome don't eat enough protein, in my opinion. Protein takes a long time. That's why your stomach, Deborah, was designed to eat meat with a very, very, very acidic stomach. More acidic than a lion's stomach. Okay? And dumping syndrome usually happens when you don't have enough acidity in your stomach. Eat more protein. Get back to eating eggs, meat, and cheese. And I would add digestive enzymes. That's how to manage it. You look at our enzymes and how complex they are. That's what I would do. Okay, a couple of more here. Joanne, are you familiar with a product from Italy called calcifediol, which is vitamin D in a slightly different form? They say it's more absorbable than calcifediol. Oh. I don't know. Look, here's me, okay? With our vitamin D, okay? I could elevate a patient's vitamin D levels by supplementing with vitamin D and K2, okay? So when they take the dehydroxy 25 blood test, hey, if you're taking vitamin D and your vitamin D levels are not going up, it ain't working. But when I gave a patient vitamin D and had their blood work done, it better had been going up. And it went up every time when I gave them the right dosage of vitamin D. So this one out of Italy, I think they are trying to make some money off of it, to make it a prescription vitamin D. Not convinced. Okay? Not convinced. And by the way, the best way to get vitamin D is the sun. But good luck if you live where I live. Okay. Okay, let me just see here. Okay, that was Joanne. Thanks, Joanne. Teresa, what to do after the reset? Now doing very low carb. Doesn't seem to change fasting blood sugar levels for 9 months. Well, I'm not big, Teresa, as big on fasting blood sugar levels. Okay? That was never me. I would get you to get me, Teresa, your A1C. That's much more accurate. Okay? When do you take your fasting blood sugar levels? In the morning? Because your blood sugar levels are going to be high in the morning. That's just normal. Because of cortisol waking you up. See what cortisol does? Okay? Cortisol is normal to elevate your blood sugar. Okay? Getting you ready for the day. Anyway, Teresa, I don't worry so much about fasting blood sugar. I was a big guy on A1C because that's telling me what your insulin resistance is at. That's the one I like much better. Gives me a better indication. And, give me your triglycerides. That's really important. And your HDL. That tells me much more. Okay? So keep up the good work, Teresa. Good for you. You're eating the right way. Okay, one more. I had an attack and testing showed 2 large gallstones and surgery is required if it bothers me again. Yeah, I wouldn't eat a lot of fat now, France. Okay? I wouldn't. Look, the reason you got the gallstones, there's 2 reasons that you get gallstones. Okay? One of them, use it or lose it. Why do we see so many problems with gallstones? Is because people bought the lie that fat makes you fat and fat it gives you cholesterol and that's bad. They were lies. They're not true. And because of that, people went fat-free or low-fat, and that was silly. It wasn't right. It wasn't science. It was propaganda. And what happened? You got all these women, especially, with no gallbladders. Because use it or lose it. You got bile. Your liver produces it. Not to eat vegetables. Your body produces bile so that you can eat fat. Animal fat. That's why your body produces bile. Changes the pH in your small intestine. Because what's coming out of your stomach is so acidic. And your body knows how to alkalize it and emulsify it and absorb it. But people don't use their gallbladder for years. Women went for it. Salad. I gotta have my salad and maybe a little bit of chicken. Chicken and salad. I heard it for years. Oh, Dr. Martin, I'm eating good. I eat chicken and salad. You eat a rabbit. You're not a cow. You don't have 4 stomachs. You got a gallbladder. Use it. They thought, this guy is over the top. Nah, I was just telling you how your body is made. So don't believe the BS. Talking about cows. Anywho, okay? Anywho. And the other reason, I didn't tell you the second reason, not enough progesterone, too much estrogen. Because progesterone is needed for smooth muscle. And we're estrogen dominant. That's why a lot of women after a baby will lose their gallbladder. Not enough fat, too much estrogen and not progesterone. Okay? That's a good question. Okay, let's leave it at that today. I guess we're going to have question and answer Monday. Again, we often do. Guys, you guys are fun. I have more fun with you. I love the questions. Okay? I love the questions. You guys are great. Okay, now, okay? Housekeeping. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group, come on and join us, okay? Join the 22,000 members. Facebook, likes, people that follow us on Facebook, we're at 88,000 and change, I think. Yeah, I looked at it this morning. I already forget the number. And, okay, tell people about the Doctor Is In podcast on your favorite smart device, okay? You got one of those? You can listen to the Doctor Is In podcast. Okay, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.